What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some more Warframe, and we are once again in our free-to-play playthrough here. Wanted to give you guys another video with some advice on how to help in the early stages of the game. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about mods. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the 5 most important mods that you will get as a starting player in Warframe that you need to be looking for. This is not necessarily the 5 best mods in the game. This is just in terms of my opinion, what I think you need to be worried about really early on in the game. And those 5 mods we're going to take a look at here in our ship. I'm going to show you guys this cool thing over here. We have this little computer with our codex, and this has got a lot of cool stuff. If you guys haven't really gone through the codex, you definitely check it out. It shows you all the quests that you'll eventually be able to do, the quests that you have available to perform, the quests you've already completed. There are some training tutorials in here that are definitely worth checking out. In addition to watching the videos, these are really, really good and can teach you about a lot of stuff in the game. A lot of people don't even know these are in here. You can have some missions and tell you about all the different kinds of missions you can do. But the most important one here, for our purposes, is going to be the universe. And here you can learn about all the different weapons and see the fragments you've found, look at the mods you've accumulated, see companions, objects in the game lore, warframes, etc., etc. So pretty cool. But like I said, today we want to talk about mods. So let's go over here to the mods tab. And we're going to start with Warframe, and we'll go over the first 2 mods that are really, really important to your Warframe journey at the beginning. And those are going to be Vitality and Redirection. That's number 1 and number 2. Fairly simple idea here. Vitality gives your Warframe more health, up to, I believe, 440% once it's maxed out. And the same thing with Redirection, gives you more shield capacity. I believe that's also goes up to 440% once you get that maxed out. And that's a percentage of your Warframe's base statistics. So different Warframes have different health and shield statistics, and then there's also armor, which is another big one. We'll get to that later on in the game, though. For right now, we just want to focus on these 2, especially since we're using Excalibur, who's pretty well-rounded and needs both shield and health. Now, the reason I think these are the 2 most important right away, when we're early in the star chart, the first couple of planets, actually mostly through Jupiter, so we're going to probably go for the first 5 or 6 planet locations, including moons. I call them planets, but there's going to be a couple moons in there, so don't fault me for that. But moving up through Jupiter, which is going to take us a little while to get through, the most important thing for your Warframe is going to be survivability. You need health, you need shields. There's a lot of other mods that are going to help your power strength, your power efficiency. We'll talk about those a little bit later on, but you want to be focused on survivability, just being able to survive the missions, taking damage, shield tanking, whatnot. And you're not going to have a whole lot of mod capacity at first, because your Warframe, once you get it to rank 30, you're only going to have 30 capacity. So once you put a couple of mods on there, it's going to eat into that capacity quite a bit. So Vitality is the number 1, and then Redirection is going to be number 2. Now you should get you can see at the bottom, it tells you the drop sources for these. These are really super common. You should, within the first couple of missions, have gotten a couple of these drops already. A lot of these will drop from the straight up Grineer enemies. Now the Redirection has a little bit smaller drop table here on my codex, but I know I've gotten these to drop from a lot of the early on enemies. You'll be doing some infestation missions most likely too early on, which you can get Redirection to drop from pretty easily. So those are the 2 mods you want to be focused on getting for your Warframe. Now the next series of mods we're going to be talking about are going to be damage mods, and those are going to be for each of your weapons. And the first one, you can find it here in the codex somewhere. I should have just done this by I can sort this by alphabetical order, I think, by name. There we go. That's the other cool thing too here, is you can sort this out. And let's see, here we go, Serration. Now Serration is going to be a rifle damage mod, and since most likely you went with the Mark I Bratton and you're going to be using the Voltor after you craft it, it's important to have a damage mod for your rifle. This is just going to be a bonus to your base damage, and kind of like I was talking about earlier, the first couple of planets, the enemies are not super difficult. You just want to be focused on your survivability and your damage output. Now you have other mods you'll be getting that will drop, so like here you get slash damage, impact damage. these are going to be pretty minuscule at first. They're not going to give you a massive bonus, so it's not something you really want to be focused on. You want to focus on the base damage for a weapon and getting that buffed up as much as you possibly can to improve your overall damage output, because the other thing that's going to help your survivability is killing things faster. Now, there are certain elemental mods you might get, and those will be helpful against the Corpus a little bit, but like I said, the first couple planets, usually up through about Jupiter, the enemies we're dealing with are not going to be super difficult, so we want to focus mostly on the base damage. So Serration is number 3. You want to try to get one of those as quickly as possible. The best chance you probably have on these is going to be through doing excavation or defense missions, especially against the infested. I think I had one of these drop in an infested defense mission, so that's going to be where you want to go for those. Now, in addition, you're also going to be wanting to do the same for your secondary, and in this case it's going to be Hornet Strike, which is going to give you additional damage for your pistol. So that's another mod you're going to be after there. And you can see there it also seems to drop off Ancients and Boilers. So again, this is another one I got to drop while doing some missions against the infested, and there are plenty of those available on Earth, Venus, and Mercury and Mars going through the early stages, so you should be able to get one of these fairly easily. And again, same concept here, you just want to focus on that raw damage output at first. You don't want to have to worry about building up any kind of mod set on your weapons. You just want to focus on that damage right away. Going into melee, we're keeping with the same theme, and we're going to find Pressure Point, which this is a super easy mod to get. You can see on the bottom it drops from a lot of things, especially the Grineer. This will drop a ton for you in the early Grineer missions. And same concept here. This is just bonus melee damage, and it's the same thing. Your melee weapons, you're not going to have a lot of capacity at first to really go for those great builds on them, so you're going to want to just go for that raw damage output, because the faster you can kill things, the easier your life is going to be. So those are really it. Those are the top 5 mods I would focus on right away when you're playing through. The first couple of planets you should have, get these fairly easily. Now, one little tip I will give you guys on these mods: when you are building your Warframe, initially we're going to be focusing on Excalibur because he is our main frame that we picked at the beginning, and he's who we're going to be using for a lot of the content until we start crafting some other Warframes. You're going to get quite a few of these mods to drop, and I'm going to go through another video where I show you where you can actually take those duplicate mods and do some cool stuff with them. But in this case, we want to talk about saving at least one copy of each. You can see here I have a Vitality that I've already leveled up 5 times. So it costs 7 mod slots to use that. Now you look over here, the base Vitality only costs 2 slots to use. What you want to do is you want to keep one relatively, like on this one here, we would level it up maybe 2 or 3 times instead of the other, the other Vitality where I have it a lot more. And what's going to happen is when you get a new Warframe, it's going to start at 0. You're going to have really no capacity at all, so you're not going to be able to throw a lot of mods on that you've already put endo into. So it's good to keep one copy of each of those 5 base mods: the Redirection, the Vitality, the Serration, the Hornet Strike, and the Pressure Point. Keep those with just a couple of endo put into them, so they're not super high in slot capacity. That way when you get a new frame and you're starting out with it, it's like, oh crap, my other mods are too high, I can't put anything in it. You'll have some mods there that are low cost that you can put into it at the beginning when you're first leveling it up. That way you're not completely gutted for mods, and your health and shield stats and your weapon damage are way down. You'll be able to actually still do pretty well even with those lower tier mods in your Warframe or your weapons. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Kind of just a quick little video there to go over the mods I think are really super important when you're first coming through the game. Like I said, we'll start to worry about like getting better mods and things once we get more of the star chart opened up, because eventually we're going to get some things open to us like the Orkin Vaults and the Void, and also Nightmare missions. We'll be able to start doing those pretty soon, which drop some really cool dual mods that we can get. But like I said, we've got to go through Mercury, we've got to get through Mars and Phobos and Ceres and Jupiter. So we've got quite a few planets. When we get around Jupiter's when the game starts to get a little bit more interesting, a little bit more difficult. When you go to Europa and Saturn, that's going to be where it starts to pick up quite a bit, and we'll have to start focusing a little bit more on mods. But for right now, like I said, we're just kind of in the early stage. and we're just looking for those mods that are going to give us more survivability and more damage output. As usual, guys, if you have any questions about anything in the video, feel free to ask down below in the comments. I hope you guys are enjoying this Warframe series so far. I'm having a lot of fun putting it together. It's been very enjoyable to get back to playing a game I really do have a lot of fun with and enjoy. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again next time.